Hello, everybody. I am Stephanie D. Sanders, and you are checking in with me on Getting to Know You, a show about nonprofit organizations, who they are, what they do, and talking to the people to see where they got these ideas from. But today we brought a twist to the thing. We have a gentleman here, Mr. Lewis Joseph, and he is going to tell us a little bit more about his company and actually how he helps nonprofit organizations. Welcome to the show, Lewis.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me. Definitely appreciate it, and that's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, yes. I thought it was so cool when you mentioned that you actually work with nonprofit organizations, but don't let me jump. Don't let me jump the gun. Don't let me do it. I'm just going to try and hold on to my questions. And
Uh-huh,
let's
uh-huh.
start this thing off so people can kind of get to know who you are. Lewis, tell us a little bit about yourself growing up, a little bit about how you kind of got into the whole tech world, and then we'll fall into your business.
All right, awesome, awesome. Certainly, thank you for having me, Stephanie. So where do I start here? So, I grew up in Boston. That's where, and originally born in Haiti. I
Mhm.
grew up in Boston since I was about 8 years old. Um, and growing up, I was always into the arts. I was introduced to music very early on.
Mhm.
So I ended up getting into a music program at the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston. And that went on from, you know, uh, all the way up to high school from like middle school. So in parallel, I was into sports. I love to draw. I love to music. So I was into all kind of things, but I was also introduced to tech.
Mhm.
And that was my first taste of tech, if you will, where I was introduced to robotics
Oh,
uh,
wow.
building solar cars, and that was like seventh grade. So I
Okay.
had a taste of like arts, tech, and at the same time doing sports. So when I look back, that kind of really shaped a lot of path moving forward from that point on. So anyway, I went on to um, get my computer system engineering degree at University of Massachusetts Amherst. And while I was there, I still continued my passion in the arts. So I played my saxophone, which is one of my favorite instruments in at
Oh,
events,
man.
at school, etc. And also I had my first taste of acting in college. So that's when me and my friends, we wrote a play and then we acted in the play. It was for a school event. And I was like, oh, wow, I really love that. And one day I could see myself acting, right? But I never pursued it at the time as a profession. I didn't make that decision then. I went to my corporate profession route, graduated with my system engineering degree, then went on to get more tech degrees to, start the corporate world in tech and technology. And in that world, that's when I started doing things like building networks and cloud and virtual, all these tech stuff, right? That was my career in that. But um, while I was in college, I also had the um, taste of entrepreneurship. So I had different businesses like web design business because I taught myself how to build websites. And that was a way to, make some cash while I was in college and other various entrepreneurship ventures. I was introduced to other type businesses like network marketing and other things.
Hmm.
So I had some taste of entrepreneurship, which I see myself wanting to build a company in the future, something that really does um, something that could really impact community and provide value. So I never knew what that would be, obviously, but I had all these different kind of experiences from arts to tech to entrepreneurship. So fast forward, went on to corporate America and never really looked into the arts until 2018. 2018 is when I decided to pursue my acting career. And I'm saying all this because it ties into how the company started. But you know, I pursued my acting career and I started taking classes, taking it seriously, right? And getting agent, etc. But as I was going through that process, I started seeing a lot of challenges for independent filmmakers and creators, and being able to have a path to thrive and to succeed professionally. And there seemed to be one avenue. So that's when the idea of my company started, and and the company iBoss Entertainment, which I founded kind of pre-pandemic. I started to develop the idea. Pandemic happened, didn't really do much from that point until get out of pandemic a little bit in 2021, 2022. So that's how everything kind of came together. So iBoss Entertainment, iBoss is an acronym for Independent Box Office Screening System. And the vision of iBoss Entertainment is to empower an independent filmmaker and creator economy.
Mhm.
And so there's various things that we do, which I'll get into. But just to kind of wrap up, my background there is, and then I developed a love for storytelling from acting. So I wanted to do things behind the camera
Mhm.
and develop a love for screenwriting and the whole filmmaking process, pre-production, production, post-production. And because of my tech background, a lot of things I could do on my own, like editing and other things. I kind of pick up those softwares to make stories. So with that said, that led me to going to film school and getting my grad degree in film and digital, film, video, and digital production. So that I can help bring about more opportunities around that world of filmmaking. So, and that again falls into the whole concept of what iBoss Entertainment is all about. So that's where that kind of led up to starting that company.
But see, you never know. You never know what people are all about and where they come from until you actually sit down and have moments like this. That's why I love it, because I've known this gentleman here for a little while now, and I didn't know all. I didn't know all that story right there, But it's so interesting to hear that because it helps you to know that you're not alone out here when you say you do like 20 different things and and you do them well, it's not braggadocious or nothing like that. It's just a part of that whole creative side of us, but we always find different ways of using them. And he found a way to use his skills and talents and things in tech and entertainment and blend those two things together to create iBoss. And we've gone to networking events here several times. I got to get back in there because I've been busy auditioning and stuff. But you know
Oh,
what?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's
But
perfect.
hey, I enjoy it. I like what he's doing with that because it's so very, very much so needed, especially in this particular area. But then he's talking about this business, but the business that he does do, he also helps other people, and that's why we want to bring him here because he's like, okay, but the business helps nonprofits. I was like, really? So I wanted you to kind of slide on
Mm.
over into that aspect of things and what does your company actually do? Or well, what is the mission of the company when it comes to helping the nonprofit?
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's tie it all in. So and you mentioned something that really hits, some of the genesis of this is I was thinking, okay, how do I use what I know, my skills, things I've learned over the years that I'm passionate about and put it together in a way that can help and bring value in the space of creativity.
Mm-hmm.
So the tech and the storytelling. So various things that we do. So and that leads up to how we why we do things in our community engagement and nonprofit organization. So first we have our platform called iBoss TV. Boss TV is a platform for independent filmmakers and creators to partake in, to showcase their work, partake in revenue share, and really have an avenue to showcase and be represented, be celebrated. And so iBossTV.com is, if you want to check out the platform. And we have our platform called Onsetters, which is a marketplace where filmmakers, creatives can find resources and the community can partake in providing resources on the platform. So if you think of it as an Airbnb for creatives and professional services. And we also have film projects that we do. We love to create films. And the idea is to really create substantial opportunities around independent filmmaker, or around film and other creative opportunities. So we want to elevate that, here in our community and of course globally, and elevate that independent filmmaking industry in that sense. So we want to be able to provide opportunity on camera, off camera, and so that's all part of what we are doing when it comes to our vision in empowering an independent filmmaker and creator economy. So now, one thing I wanted to embed in our vision is how we also get involved in the community. And
Mm-hmm.
that's our community engagement and outreach and working with nonprofit organizations and the youth. So what we do
Mm-hmm.
is provide or customize educational programs in the creative world of film to with and partner with and collaborate with nonprofit organizations like that provide after school programs, summer programs,
Mm-hmm.
and go create acting and auditioning, training and workshops, and and do and film production workshops. So we'll take the youth to a whole process to see an avenue there. So an example is we've worked with organizations like here in Tampa, where we create a whole program for the kids that were in elementary school and also in high school. It was a summer program and took them through the whole film production process. But the cool thing about it is it's also sort of like a sub mentorship program too, because we don't just talk about film through talking to the young ones. We're talking about careers, we're talking about avenues and their interests. And, given some of the backgrounds I've had, I could veer off to some of the interests they may have about going to college and pursuing engineering and how that can maybe tie back to film and create creative work. I'll give you an example. I'll be like, I ask them, what do you want to be? Do you want to be an actor, filmmaker, producer, stuff like that? Because that's popular stuff, right? And they say, no, I like music. I'm like, well, guess what? Music. um, I like to write. Well, guess what? Screenplays, right? Or I like to draw. I like to build things. Well, set design. So
Yeah. Yeah.
when I started to see those things, they're like, oh wow, so there is doesn't matter. There's so many ways I could
Yeah. You can just kind of cross
create
it over. Yep.
around that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so we love to be involved in helping organizations also tell their story. And part of our client side of things is we do video production services. So, for example, we partner with a nonprofit organization here called Pace for Girls locally here, and they provide resources and for academics to young teens, young women.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, in their teens, and also counseling and things of that nature. So we collaborated with them, created a video that would help tell the stories, not just of the organization, but the stories of the young teens and their lives and how it's changing. And they were able to use that to help get support. So in any way we can use our skills to help organizations, whether it's helping them tell stories, whether it's providing programs that would help the youth to be exposed to certain things they probably wouldn't normally be exposed to,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of creative work and film and things of that nature. And so that part of the organization, the company, I always say I embedded that in the vision because we want to also help bring the youth to along to what we're doing as they grow. There needs to be opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
definitely. I got my little young ones. As I speak of young ones right now.
Hey, girl.
My
Oh,
little one.
hey, boy. I don't know which one it is.
It's my little guys. I speak to young ones, right? The little young one. Yeah. So it's really, and the reason why is because as the vision is to build an economy of filmmaking and creative industry and looking to provide substantial opportunities. Well, if you're young, that opportunity has to exist at some point if you're looking to get into that
Yeah.
space, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, but at the same time, having information to see yourself in that space, because
Mm-hmm.
as the word says, where there's no vision, people perish. So if you don't see yourself in the future in something, you just won't be you just won't see a path to it, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's how we really collaborate with nonprofit organizations. It's an ever growing thing, so we keep ourselves very flexible in how we can use what we do to help nonprofits and their missions.
Wow, that is awesome because I'm just hearing stuff that I was thinking in my mind of actually creating a nonprofit organization with some of those things and quite a few other things as well. So I might have to talk to you on that end in that regard, to see if that's an area that I'd like to go into. But it's so
Mhm,
informative to know how you do help them, how you can help them, how it helps not just you. It's a win-win for everybody. And I like to see things like that
mhm,
because you're winning on this side for the business aspect, and then you're winning to help other people. at the same time, I love that, and you have a genuine heart for what you're doing, which is very admirable in itself. But what do
Thank you.
you notice as one of the challenges in helping the nonprofits? What's something that might be a bit of a challenge in working with them at times?
Um, I don't know if I would say it's challenging
Mm.
in terms of the way we've gone about it per se. We've had a lot of welcoming conversations.
Mhm.
I think,
Do
yeah,
do they come in sometimes, maybe with a certain idea of how things are supposed to transpire, or whatever, and then maybe you have to readjust their thought process
okay,
in
right,
that,
right. Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, it depends on what they want. Like, for example, when we're working with Pace for Girls and a great organization, great people there, and our contact there, she had an idea of how she wanted to, really help bring about. They had an event going on. They wanted to create a video that really can help with people seeing what they do, so they can support. Because they everything they do is based off donations and things of that nature, right? All the resources they need is based on, support of the community. So, based on, if somebody comes with an idea, I love to help expound on it or see
Mm-hmm.
different
Mm-hmm.
perspective, see how we can create something to make that come to life. So, and I would say that, so we ended up creating a mini documentary film. I took that idea they wanted to do, and then we turned that into a documentary film, and which is actually on iBoss TV, and people can watch it. So it's a way for them to have an avenue where they can speak about what they do and let the video speak for itself, and then that can help them get support in what they do. So they can come up with ideas, or they can, or we can, say this is some of the things we can do, and then that can help stir up ideas, because I always, err on side of innovation. So for me, the way I look at it is, no idea is a bad idea. Just let's think through it and then
Mm-hmm.
find something, and and don't be afraid to break nothing, right? Meaning, don't be afraid to go against the status quo of your mind. Like, when
Yes,
we can't
yes.
do this, like, no, let's explore it and then see what can flourish out of that. And if nothing, then let's go a different avenue. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess I don't know if it's more. It's like a good challenge if you want
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That whole brainstorming
to.
thing, you have to
Yeah.
kind of get past that moment there. And it's really good because a lot of times we all brainstorm to ourselves,
Hmm.
and we may not necessarily have an outlet to brainstorm with, but then coming to meet with you and your team and stuff like that can really help to broaden people's, thought process and ideas and expand on what that idea is. So I think that's a really good thing too, because it helps people to not only think of, oh, this is just one way that things can be done,
Hmm.
but then they come in and
Absolutely.
talk to you and it's like, oh, okay, here's a broader spectrum of things that can be done and even elevated, to another level. Because anything we put out here, it has to be able to not necessarily compete in certain ways, but you want that professionalism. You want that product to really stand out. So
Hmm.
then don't be don't pigeonhole yourself into just one way of doing something,
Absolutely.
just being open to come in and connect and collaborate and listen and then bring
Hmm.
all those thoughts and ideas together. It just makes it that much better because
Hmm.
Lord knows, I done thought of ideas up in here by myself. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, Jesus, wait a minute. I need I, I need a mastermind group, somebody to talk these things out.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, ideas don't keep flowing in. And now what I will say is, there's a lot of challenges with organization finding ways to be able to tell their story. And
Mm,
one thing that I talk about is an advocate for is, we help organizations tell their story. We help
mm-hmm.
create a way for people to know what you do. And I see a lot of
Yeah.
nonprofit organizations, they do a lot of awesome things in the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the surface level, you don't really know all the great things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not really apparent
Right.
when you're really in it. involved, you can see all the great things. So I think the
Yes.
biggest challenge I see with nonprofit organization is people really connecting with what they do at an emotional level. And by that, I mean really understand, oh, this is what they do. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
hear the organization, they do great things, and you hear that organization, they do great things.
Mm-hmm.
They do that, they do that. And then, but there isn't something that connects you to the that makes you say, oh wow, no, this is what they do. Okay,
Yes.
I definitely want to
Yes.
support that. I definitely want to
Mm-hmm.
support that. I definitely want
Mm-hmm.
to support that. So finding ways to really tell your story as an organization, storytelling is very important. So I always say bringing cinematic storytelling to businesses, because at the end of the day, whether you're a business or you're telling a story in a film or you're telling a story in however ways, storytelling is storytelling. So I'll give you an
Yes.
example. If you could be an organization and maybe you do you help particular demographics, and you help them with particular services,
Mm-hmm.
etc. Well, it doesn't have to be a promo video you create that that you promote what you do. It could
Mm-hmm.
be a short 5-minute film that shows the life in a day of a person that uses your service, and
Yeah.
then it can see, oh, this is how you help that kind of person,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So like there's all kind of ways to go about really impacting people, right? Because storytelling is really what captures people versus saying, this is what I do, this is a service, this is a product. It's great, but how can people really connect what you do? So that's the challenge I see.
Mm-hmm.
And then we help with that.
See, and that's good because I thought about, it's kind of like when people do commercials, for their products and stuff. That's like a quick clip of what that's
Right,
about. But then when other people want you to know about themselves, they may do a documentary. That's something a little bit longer, So
right,
I like
right,
that you guys are taking it a step further than just a commercial to say,
right,
okay, this is the business. Okay, bring
right.
bring the kids into this school or whatever. And I,
Hmm.
I like that because it helps to expand the thought of what this is about. And that's exactly why I'm doing this show.
Mm. And
That's
that's awesome you're
exactly why
doing
I'm
this.
doing
Yeah.
this show. Because I don't know when I thought about it. It's been a couple years. And I
Hmm.
was like, now, okay, well, we know a lot of nonprofits just by hearing them here and there. You might see a commercial or something, but you don't actually know what a lot of them do.
Hmm.
There may be a lot of people out here who want to be a part of, who want to help, who want to give
Hmm.
to them. And I just thought it was important for us to know more about it, just the
Yeah.
general public, and not just when you say community engagement, you just say, okay, in your community, but across the world, you never know who might want to help,
Hmm.
or even have a
Hmm.
person that has something going on that's in this realm of the nonprofit. You just never
Hmm.
know. And I just like that thought of talking to people to find out exactly what this is all about, and I really like what you guys are doing there. Now, how do you stay motivated and grounded in what you're doing to make this purpose come to fruition every day, and keep leveling up, because we never get to a point in which that's just it. It's always we're at a point where we keep finding other ways to keep leveling up in our businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta stay inspired, stay inspired, remember your purpose, keep developing into it. Um, and because not every day is rosy, right? So,
Right.
so you're not gonna be motivated every
It
day,
not every day,
but
John.
but you can be inspired every day.
Yeah.
You can be inspired every day. Stay learning, stay growing. I am a big advocate for personal growth.
Hmm.
So reading, listening to anything, podcast, audiobooks that helps you continue to develop yourself.
Yes.
And one thing that I think that's a when you feel like you're always progressing, that's motivating in itself. When you feel like
Hmm.
you're learning versus getting
Hmm.
stagnant, um,
Hmm.
you that motivates you to keep going. And then
Hmm.
just remember what you do, why you're doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
And everything is always a win. So if the day went well, it's a win. If it didn't go well, it's a lesson. So it's
Hmm.
still a win, right? You
Hmm.
just became that much better with somebody else that didn't learn the lesson. So
Yes. Yes.
so it's okay to learn the lesson. All right,
Hmm.
I didn't go
I'm
too
like,
well today. Today was
if
a
I can just check one thing off
yeah,
the
yeah.
list.
either a loss or a lesson. It's a lesson.
Now that is true.
So,
That is so true. In good, bad times, that is
and
exactly what it is.
right. So it's gonna be up and downs in terms of, things are gonna come to your mind. You're gonna start to, there's always going to be these thoughts of, oh, am I going the right direction?
Yes.
What
Yes.
do I focus on today? So
Uh-huh.
it's a matter of one, stay learning, stay progressing, remember your purpose, stay inspired. Because
Mm-hmm.
motivation don't last. You could
Mm-hmm.
be motivated right now because you heard some, you read some, and then you wake up the next day, that motivation is all gone, right? So finding finding
Try. I don't want to do that now.
you know what I mean? So stay and take care of your well-being,
Mm-hmm.
because I think one thing that's underestimated is how much taking care of your well-being, meaning your body and your mind, your spirit,
Yes.
has a
Yes.
big part in staying inspired and motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
if you don't
Mm-hmm.
feel good, you
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to maintain that energy. It's very hard to maintain and sustain that. So for me, first and foremost, stay spiritually connected,
Mm-hmm.
God and the center of my life, and really continue to grow in that, my spiritual growth. But at the same
Amen.
time, second, health. Take
Mm-hmm.
care of your health. Don't get caught up in the grind of your daily things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't that we all know entrepreneurs, you can get all caught up doing things, and
Yes.
you're ignoring important things about your health and your
Mm-hmm.
mind. So for me, those two things come first. They like
Mm-hmm.
it don't, like health, keeping your spirits up, keeping your, staying in the right frame of mind and prepping yourself for whatever comes. So I think that has been a big part in me staying motivated, staying inspired, staying with my energy, because I know, because the days where you don't feel good, or you haven't been working out, and haven't been eating good, and you feeling sluggish and all that,
Mm-hmm.
you can see the difference. You
Oh
feel,
yes. Oh
you
yes.
think slow, you
Yep.
move slow,
Yep.
and you have less confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when you stay, you keep health at the center of your life,
Yes.
well-being at the
Mm-hmm.
center of your life, well-being meaning all of it, mind, body, spirit, your well-being at the
Mm-hmm.
center of everything. Then it to me, my experience has been, every time you sustain that, it permeates to everything else.
Right.
So how you show up, your attitude, stuff like that. So,
Yes.
and it's not hard. I call it practice. You got to practice staying well, because nobody's going to be perfect. You're going to fall off here and there. You might, travel
Mm-hmm.
and get off routine, all these different things. So, but prioritize your well being. I think that goes a long way in keeping you motivated and having energy every day.
That's good. Good stuff. I totally agree with that. Totally. Because I can immediately feel the difference if I miss like 2, 3 days working out or whatever. And I'm like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. We're going to do something. I don't care
Yeah,
if you're standing up in here kicking around with the ankle weights on like I did yesterday,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
whatever it
yeah,
is. But Lewis, go ahead and give us your information before we cut out of here. Let
yeah.
the people know how they can reach out to you and connect with you, help,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever you want them to know so that they can stay connected with you and what you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me here, and it's been a pleasure. And you can follow me on Instagram, Louis Joseph Official. Facebook, put my name, Louis Joseph. It'll come up as well. So Instagram, our company, um, iBoss, at iBoss Entertainment on Facebook, at iBoss Entertainment on Instagram. So it's the same. So you just put that iBoss Entertainment, it'll come up. You'll find it. And yeah, so connect with me on the social media there, and send me a message, or our website, www.ibossentertainment.com. You can go there as well if you want to contact us through there. So those are the various ways you can connect with me.
There you have it. Mr. Lewis Joseph in here breaking it down on how he is helping out nonprofit organizations. We love it. We love it. We love it. Connect with him. Hey, he might be that guy to promote your business and help you to move to that next level. So always keep in mind that I'm here talking to podcasters, talking to nonprofit organizations, talking to businesses. One of these shows you can probably get on. So I would say connect with me out on social media under Stephanie D. Sanders. Just put it in Google. Stephanie D. Sanders. Don't forget the D. And I thank you so much for checking us out here on Getting to Know You. We will see you the next time. Bam.
Thank you.